All right, thanks, guys. We are coming off a 4-1 day yesterday on patreon.com/Brock Page. That's going to put us at 71% in our last 46 daily double picks. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 10 NFL picks. You can find that information on my website at patreon.com/Brock Page. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and get into our Saturday NBA slate. Beginning with the Pelicans taking on the Thunder. 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off in OKC. The Thunder are -3, total 227.5. We saw a 2-point fade of OKC and movement downward on the total. The Thunder opened 5, down to -3. Total opened 231, down to 227.5. 51% of the consensus are leaning toward New Orleans. 55% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Pelicans are plus 140 on the money line. Now, Derek Favors is doubtful with a knee injury for the Pels. They're 1-4 straight up overall for the year, 2-3 against the number. The Pels rank bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding on the road. Now, on the other side, OKC, 2-1 against the number in their last 3. They're also covering 60% of their games for the year. They rank top 5 in points allowed, top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, keep in mind, Steven Adams and Nerlens Noel, they are probable for tonight's action, so we should see both of those guys in action. They're also led by Gilgeous Alexander, who's scoring 22 points a game, 7 rebounds. Danilo Gallinari, 18 points a game for him. When it comes to the total, OKC is 80% to the under for the season, 3-0 to the under at home. I'm going to lean OKC -3 and the under 227.5 in that game. Next matchup, Nets, Pistons, 7 o'clock Detroit. The Nets are -2, total 224. We saw a 1-point fade of Brooklyn and movement downward on the total. The Nets opened 3, down to -2. Total opened 224.5, down to 224. 70% are leaning Brooklyn, 57% shaded toward the under. Right now, Detroit is plus $1.15 on the money line. Blake Griffin and Reggie Jackson obviously still out indefinitely for the Pistons. No other injuries listed at the moment, but regardless, Detroit is just 1-4 straight up in their last 5. They failed to cover in 4 out of those 5 games. Failures to cover against Chicago, Toronto, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. The Pistons rank bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage, bottom 5 in offensive rebounding. Now, Brooklyn on the other side, winners in 2 out of their last 4. Nice win last night at home, taking on Houston. That was a 123-116 victory. Nice game there for them. I watched most of that as well, kind of flipping back and forth between that and the Flyers game. But anyway, Brooklyn, top 5 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. They're led by Kyrie Irving, 33 points a game, 7 assists. Karis LeVert's right behind him with 20 points a game. And Jared Allen's pulling down 10 rebounds a game as well. DeAndre Jordan quietly making an impact. He's averaging double-digit rebounds as well for the Nets. Now, total-wise, Brooklyn's 60% to the over for the year. Detroit 4-2 to the over themselves. I'm going to lean Brooklyn -2 on the road and the over 224 in that game. Next matchup, Nuggets, Magic, 7 o'clock Orlando. The Nuggets are -4, totals 201. We saw a 1.5-point move toward Denver, movement downward on the total. The Nuggets open 2.5, up to -4. Total open 206, down to 201. 71% are leaning Nuggets, 73% shaded toward the over. Right now, Orlando is plus 155 on the money line. Michael Carter-Williams is listed as questionable with a hip injury for Orlando. He was actually a friend of mine, a follower of mine on Instagram a few years back. He was a verified follower on the Instagram page, and he was liking all my stuff. So anyway, hopefully he's okay. Michael Carter-Williams listed as questionable with a hip. Orlando just 2-3 straight up on the season, 1-4 against the number. They failed to cover against Milwaukee, Toronto, Atlanta, and Cleveland. This Orlando squad has not scored over 100 points once this year. They're averaging just 94 points per game, bottom 5 in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. Now, Denver on the other side, 3-2 straight up overall. They beat Sacramento, Phoenix, and Portland. They're in the top 10 in points allowed. They're led by Murray, who's scoring 18 points a game, 5 rebounds. Nikolai Jokic, 15 points a game, 11 boards for him. When it comes to the total, Denver 60% to the under on the year. Orlando 5-0 to the under themselves. I'm going to lean Denver -4 and the under 201 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out once again on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 4-1 in our premium selections yesterday to start off the weekend. That's going to put us at 71% in our last 46 daily double plays. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 10 NFL picks on that site. We do daily plays on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. You can also access my current record for free right on the homepage. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Once again, link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive back into some more lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Raptors taking on the Bucks. And that's going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Milwaukee. The Bucks are -5.5 at home, total 225 and a hook. We did see a 2-point fade of Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Bucks open 7.5 down to 5.5, total open 227 and a hook, down to 225 and a hook. 57% are leaning Milwaukee, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, Toronto's plus $1.80 on the money line. Toronto's 4-1 straight up on the year, 4-1 against the number. They've had successful wins and covers over Detroit, Orlando, Chicago, and the Pelicans. They're led by Pascal Siakam, who's scoring 28 a game, 9 rebounds. Kyle Lowry's right behind him with 22 a game, 7 assists. And Freddie VanVleet, 17 points a game, 7 assists for him. Toronto ranks in the top 5 in offensive rebounding, top 3 in free throw percentage, and they are top 3 in defensive field goal percentage as well. Now, Milwaukee on the other side, Kyle Korver is listed as questionable. Might be one of those load management nights where he just kind of takes a breather. But anyway, Milwaukee has dropped 2 out of their last 4. They've also failed to cover in 2 out of those 4 games. Milwaukee ranks in the bottom 3 in free throw percentage. They're also in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Milwaukee is 60% to the over, as well as 2-0 to the over at home. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take Toronto plus 6 and the over 225.5 in that game. Next matchup, Suns, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Memphis. Now, the Suns are -2.5, total 221. We did see a flip of the lines in this matchup here. Phoenix open as the slight dog. We also saw a movement upward on the total as well. So once again, the Suns open +1, now -2.5, total open 220, up to 221. 69% are leaning Phoenix, 52% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Grizzlies are plus $1.30 on the money line. The Grizzlies are also just 1-3 straight up on the year. They failed to cover in 3 out of those 4 games. Brandon Clark is listed as questionable with a back injury. Memphis has also failed to cover against the likes of the Lakers, Bulls, and Miami. Memphis is in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. They're also in the bottom 3 in three-point percentage. Now, on the other side, Phoenix 2-1 straight up in their last 3, 3-2 straight up overall for the year. And they are a perfect 5-0 against the spread this year. They've had successful covers over Golden State, Utah, the Clippers, Denver, and Sacramento. They're led by Booker, who's scoring 24 points a game, 6 assists. Kelly Oubre, 19 points a game, 6 rebounds. And DeAndre Ayton, 18 points a game, 11 boards for him. Phoenix is in the top 10 in scoring on average per game, top 5 from the line. When it comes to the total, Memphis on the other side, 2-2 to the over. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take Phoenix -2 and the over 221 in that game. Next matchup, Timberwolves, Wizards, 8 o'clock, Washington. The Wizards are -2.5 at home, total 226 and a hook. We saw a 1-point move toward Washington and movement downward on the total. The Wizards open 1.5 up to 2.5. Total open 227 down to 226 and a hook. 64% are leaning Washington, 55% shaded toward the over. Right now, Minnesota is plus $1.15 on the money line. Minnesota 3-1 straight up on the year, successfully covering in 3 out of those 4 games. They did cover against Miami, Charlotte, and Brooklyn. They're led by Andrew Wiggins, who's scoring 20 points a game, 6 rebounds. Big shot Bobby Robert Covington, 10 points a game, 7 rebounds. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns still suspended from that Joel Embiid fight in Philadelphia, which was awesome. Love that. They're still having a Twitter beef, a Twitter war right now. But anyway, Karl Anthony Towns not playing tonight, still suspended from that fight with Joel Embiid, which we all loved. It's great. I think it's great for the game. We want more fighting. Anyway, Minnesota, top 5 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. So even though they don't have Karl Anthony Towns, I think they should be able to still kind of pick up the slack there. Now, Washington on the other side, losers in their last 2 straight. They're just 1-3 straight up overall. They lost to Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. Mahimi and Wall still out with blown out Achilles tendons, both of them. Mahimi and Wall just snapped their Achilles tendons like a Slim Jim, and they're still out. They're going to be out for a while. But anyway, Washington, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. When it comes to the total, Washington 2-2 to the under overall for the year. Minnesota 2-1 to the under on the road. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me Minnesota +3 and the under 226.5 in that game. Next matchup, Hornets, Warriors, 8:30 Golden State. Charlotte's -3, totals 223.5. Not a whole lot of movement in this one. We did see a half a point move upward on the total. But anyway, Charlotte is -3. Total open 223 up to 223.5. 73% are leaning Hornets. 52% shaded toward the over. Right now, Golden State's plus $1.30 on the money line. Golden State just 1-4 straight up on the year. 1-4 against the number. They failed to cover against San Antonio, Phoenix, OKC, and the Clippers. Curry and Thompson both out indefinitely. Draymond Green listed as questionable. And Kevon Looney out with a hammy. Golden State, bottom 5 in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Charlotte on the other side, they successfully covered the number in their last 2 straight against Sacramento and the Clippers. Graham's got 16 a game, 8 assists. Washington's averaging 16 a game, 7 rebounds. And Cody Zeller bringing down 14 rebounds a game, along with 15 points per contest as well. Now, total-wise, Charlotte, 60% to the over, also 2-1 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, Golden State, 60% to the over on the year themselves. They're 2-1 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Charlotte -3 and the over 223.5 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Sixers, Blazers, 10 o'clock, Portland. The Blazers are -2, totals 223. We saw a 2-point fade of Portland and movement upward on the total. The Blazers open for it, down to -2, total open 219, up to 223. 62% are leaning Portland, 68% shaded toward the over. Right now, Philadelphia is plus 105 on the money line. Now, Joel Embiid is out. He's serving that suspension for fighting the cat, Karl Anthony Towns. But regardless, Philadelphia is still 4-0 straight up on the year, 3-1 against the number. Tobias Harris has 19 points a game, 9 rebounds. Ben Simmons, 17 a game, 8 assists. And Al Horford, 9 rebounds a game, 14 points for him. Philadelphia's beat Minnesota, Atlanta, Detroit, and Boston. The Sixers are also top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, Portland on the other side, they are bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive three-point percentage. Now, total-wise, Portland, 60% to the under on the year, 1-0 to the under at home. Philadelphia on the other side, 3-1 to the under overall for the year. I'm going to lean toward the road dog in this one. Give me the Sixers +2 and the under 223 in that game. All right, let's slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I got the Sixers +2, under 223. Charlotte -3, over 223.5. Toronto +6, over 225 and a hook. Phoenix -2, over 221. Minnesota +3, under 226.5. Denver -4, under 201. Brooklyn -2, over 224. And last but certainly not least, I like OKC -3 and the under 227.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our shoutouts brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Jet, CLNTN. Shout out to Mr. Dunn, Bumpy Johnson, Gerard Sutterfield, Gerald Harris, Kendall Hall, Sean Patrick, Ulysses U-Dog Hayes. Shout out to Luck Love, PMC05, Rosalia May Manlulu, Dennis Sabotich, Melissa Hall Grant, Gifted Individual. Shout out to Gifted Individual. Shout out to Take It Easy, Evil Dax, who continues to struggle. I don't think Evil Dax has hit a parlay in 3 years, so help him out, guys. Evil Dax, shout out to you. Shout out to Chopper Demon, Joseph Penimpede, Darius Allen, Vinny Smooth, Vlor Zav. Shout out to Cyrix D. And last but not least, shout out to Drew Churchill. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 4-1 yesterday in our premium selections for Friday to kick off the weekend. That's going to put us at 71% in our last 46 daily double picks. We're also hitting at 70% in our last 10 NFL plays. We do daily plays on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. You can also access my record for free right on the homepage. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.